Creeping in from beyond is a minute, misty hand with no outline, touching without touching, pushing without pushing. People's words lose their form in it and are sealed deep in their vocal cords. It is he who says, "I cannot hear you," who has long since closed his ears. Coldness is not unlike the chill of ice. It is a bandage of indifference, a membrane of unintentional blockade. The onlooker's gaze wears a glassy stare, not to hurt, yet not to save. Coldness finally becomes a haze, blurring the boundaries of the mind and scattering distant voices. Those who breathe there repeat the inhalation of loneliness and the exhalation of desolation. But that loneliness is a common denominator that is never shared. At the moment when passing hands extend their fingers to each other, the cold haze seeps into the gap between them. What could have been one is torn in two, and at a distance too far away to blow away even that. It is simply erased by the shimmering haze. Those who hide within it are either locked in indifference or fear the loss of self by touching the other. Beyond the haze of vision, blurred shadows sway. Even if you want to get closer, something separates you. That something has no concrete form. And if you ask it what its name is, the only answer you can get is indifference. But indifference is not nothing. It is not a lack of emotion, but an embankment built to prevent the flood of overflowing emotions. The cold fog is created by a heart that fears drowning in the flood that lies beyond it. When one is alienated by cold indifference, one is actually alienated within oneself. By refusing to relate to others, he is diluting his own existence. It is just a ploy to postpone collapse as a strategy for survival. Existence loses its contours when a foggy, cold air seeps into the crevices of our hearts. We are catalysts that cannot touch each other, beings separated by invisible walls, words sliding across the surface, emotions fading like ripples. We hear voices, but silence lurks in the sound. The residue of warmth we once shared is now an unseen shadow, drifting like a haze in the depths of our days. The soul, submerged in a frozen sea of emotion, can no longer scream, and in this haze, everything is smooth, yet sharp. Touch it and it cuts you open, but even pain is rare. It is like a stillness crushed by pressure in a deep sea where no light can reach. The end of love and even the memory of hatred fade away in the twilight. Our minds are like strange planets, orbiting one another, oblivious to even the briefest overlap. Yes, this is the hazy eternity called alienation. Time drags the shadows of words. Whenever a damp gaze touches an invisible palm, a haze drifts to the outer edge of the senses. It is the failure of the act of touching, the tragedy that is already over before the icy edge reaches the skin. Trains of uncrossed thoughts pass each other's tracks, leaving only a slight shuddering sound in the distance. In my chest, like a stranger's dream, is the grief that covers my own eyes. The balance, failing to weigh the emotions, makes a creaking sound in the off-balance silence. Sharp indifference chisels away the contours of intimacy, and a river of boundaries flows out between people. Even the light illuminating the surface of that river is clouded. The silence is heavy, and the words are hard and frozen. The palm of rejection is the craving of the palm when turned upside down. Words that keep us away are in fact unvoiced cries. Will the haze eventually clear, or will it thicken? Either is fine. What matters is that in the mist that envelops coldness, there is a shimmering that hides heat. Alienation is not a word for the end, but merely another name for the portent of the beginning. What is invisible refuses to be seen. The truth that lies behind the white haze is forever speechless. Like the stillness of a sharp blade, it is a method that cuts off the warmth of others, the name of a relentless will that embeds one's own heart in the frozen earth. This sensation lurks within the landscape, and even the shadows on the side of the road contain its signs. Everyone is a witness, but no one understands it. For between isolated eyes lies an abyss where words cannot reach. It is the loneliness that trembles inside the frosted glass, the long night's breath in the name of indifference. Ambiguity dissolves words and softly erodes the contours of reality. Occasionally, I stop on a street corner and smell the winter in my mind. The silence that pervades the cold air erases the contours of emotion and turns people's faces into masks of anonymity. With each step, the hand seen through the haze becomes a phantom in that moment. But there is one hope here. Whatever lies beyond the haze, only the will to see it will forge a true bond. In this cold world, only those who do not lose the fire in their hearts will break through the haze and transcend loneliness.